Hello, and welcome to 100% Real with Ruby. Today, I'm talking about something that can be applied to literally any time of the year. Because let's face it, there are social events, vacations slash holidays that happen throughout the year, and not just the end of the year when Christmas is coming, Thanksgiving for Americans and Canadians. Social situations are just always going to be there. So it's about time that we empower ourselves with tools that can help us get through it in a way that builds unstoppable confidence and allows you to learn how to love food without fear. So today we're diving into how to navigate the holidays or any celebration without guilt, without overdoing it, and without feeling like you're missing out on life's joys. So let me just kind of set the scene. A lot of people feel like there are only two options. You either enjoy everything in sight and then wake up bloated, frustrated, regret, feeling like you've undone weeks of hard work. And most likely you start nitpicking on yourself even more because you just act completely out of line with how you wanted to act. That was me. Or on the other side, you restrict yourself so much that you miss out on the food, the fun, and the memories, which then has a downstream impact because you were so tight on it. It makes it really hard for you to then act 100% effort in the direction you want to act because you're just adding all this fatigue of thinking about food and blah, 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 blah. Both of those options suck because I've been there on both ends and stressing over every event, thinking I'd ruin everything, kind of just shot myself down with the second wind because I was already feeling like shit. And then stressing over my actions that I already did just made me feel worse. But what if I told you that there's a third option, the secret third option, the Narnia option, a way to enjoy the food, savor the experience, and still stay aligned with your goals? In today's episode, I'm going to give you tools and help with some mindset shifts, some real life strategies that I use with my own clients to help them break free from the guilt and find balance, which I will have to be honest though up front, it's not something that I can just tell them and they succeed off the bat the first time. Every single opportunity, which is why it's so important to have the communication and have the awareness and reflect on these things. Every single opportunity is your opportunity to be better the next time with another social occasion. Because here's the thing, the best exercise that you can do after any event, whether you handled it in a way that you feel good about it or you feel bad about it, is to actually pause and reflect. We don't win the game in the process of playing the game. We win games and become world champions. Get invited to I almost said Olympia. Get invited to the Olympics. When we outperform everyone else. And the only way that we can outperform ourselves is by gathering data and then reflecting on it so that we can become better, so that we can improve our skills, see where we can get the little edge up and then build confidence, build trust in yourself that you can conquer any challenge, any opponent, which usually the opponent is yourself. But there are also other people in this, like people pleasing, food pushes, alcohol pushes. I'm going to cover all of that, whether it's a holiday dinner, a birthday party, happy hour, or just a regular Friday night, because let's kind of face it. The weekend, if you include Friday, once you clock off from work, is 43% of your week. And many people overestimate, or should I say underestimate? Which one is it? One of those. Underestimate just how much the weekend can throw you off track from your goals. Because you can be doing everything right. If you have a coach, you can be following everything the coach says, and you can still fall short and make zero progress because you're turning a blind eye, or even you're just innocently unaware of your weekends. So why does food feel so hard to control? This is the biggest question. Why is it so hard to control? Why do we feel like our diet is the hardest thing to get a grip of? Most of us are stuck in a toxic cycle of restrict, crave, binge, regret, repeat. And it's not because you're weak and you don't need more discipline or more willpower. It's just that restriction, mental restriction. Like you might not even feel like you're restricted because you're in this binge cycle. And it's like, well, I just overate. I'm not actually restricting myself, but we are still mentally restricted. And most people would then restrict after they binge, and that creates the very cravings that you're fighting. Think about it. The more that you tell yourself, I can't have this, I need to be good, I'll fix this on Monday, the more power that food has over you and the more control you lose. Like, I remember this cycle every single time where I was trying to be so good through the day because I was so scared I was going to screw up at nighttime. Literally, I was terrified that I would go over my macros, even by the littlest bit. So I did everything I could to eat like a bird through the day, and then I'd get all the cravings, I'd be hungry, and then I'd just distract myself and go for a walk. And my whole life was just revolving around food and fear, and that is not living. How many times have you gone to a party determined to be good, only to leave feeling stuffed and miserable, or you just gave up halfway through? It's not your fault because most plans out there don't teach you how to enjoy food and stay on track. And the messaging out there always makes us feel like we are broken, something is wrong with us, and then we feel like we're either 100% on or completely off track. You're either chasing fat loss with everything you've got, or you've said screw it and you let the holidays take over. And like, I get that. I get so many clients come to me with this. One of my clients, Sarah, she came to me with this exact struggle. Every single holiday season, she felt like she was blowing her progress. She would promise herself this year would be different, only to end up in the same cycle. And then one year, she's just like, nah, I had enough. She came to me. And that is when we started to dig into these thoughts and her beliefs. Her problem, we found, wasn't that she couldn't stick to her plan. It was that she only tidied up or felt like she could do all of the habits that she needed to do when there was a diet attached or fat loss attached. There was no in between. And this is why I'm such a big speaker of maintenance and the power of maintenance, and why I'm trying to move away from talking about phases, because everyone's like, what phase am I in? And I'm like, how many phases do you think there is? There's just fat loss, which should be intentional, and then there's everything else. And you should never go into a new plan or get a new coach straight into fat loss. But that does not mean that you will not lose fat without fat loss attached. If you are starting from a place where there is everything that's sporadic, nothing's intentional, nothing's getting dialed in, then just tidying that up, getting more specific, getting more intentional, having a strategic plan, that is enough to completely change your body depending on your starting point. And that is exactly what we realized when she started with me. It's that on or off mindset that shows up everywhere. It's in your workouts, it's in your habits, and it's in how you see yourself. And this is where we come to the mindset shift that you need. That is how we fix this, because you don't need to be fixed. It's not you, it's this. It's this system. The secret isn't in more rules, it's in better decisions, and we need to zoom out because we need to stop thinking in terms of all or nothing, and we need to just, my biggest thing is we need to know our trade-offs and our priorities. And it's really hard to know our trade-offs if we don't understand nutrition in general and we don't understand the process. For example, if you've been following me a while and you know me as Ruby, you'll know my client Jody. I will never forget this time. I think it was 2 years ago now, to be honest, maybe 3. I remember she sent me a menu and she's like, what can I pick from here? And we've always had meal plan structures because it means we don't really need to put so much effort into tracking. And I was like, well, what you can do is you can give up this part of your dessert or your snack, which I knew that she loved, and you can give up your whole breakfast. Take out those and replace it with the pancakes. Or you can have this option, which is kind of similar to your lunch option, and nothing else needs to be changed. You can still have your dessert and snacks. And she's just like, you know what? I like my dessert. I'm not giving up my dessert. I'm happy to have this simple poached eggs, blah, 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 because it was a brunch. She knew her trade-offs and she wasn't willing to give up her dessert for the pancakes. Even though I knew that she loved pancakes, it wasn't worth it to her to give up her chocolate, which I also remember this one time. Sorry, tangent, but it's funny, but this is what happens when you understand food in a sense as well. Because she has 30 grams of chocolate every single day, she gave up chocolate for 3 days because she wanted to have 120 grams one day. And she posted it into the group. And I'm just like, you are one funny girl. But this brings me to these 2 tools that I teach my clients. It is so important to know the foods that bring you the most joy. These are your must-haves. They're like the green lights. Know your green lights, your preferences. Know what foods that you eat out of habit, but you don't love. So you can tolerate saying no to some of those things. But then there are the deal breakers, which aren't just the foods that aren't worth it, but the behaviors that aren't worth it. So knowing what gets a hard no, knowing what you are definitely wanting to have, and then the in-between, and knowing it ahead of time, so important. So for example, if there's like cherry pie or apple pie that your grandma makes for Christmas, if that is a green light, that is a must-have, then lock it in. Know which ones are your yeses. Because you can't have yeses for everything. But if there are more than a few things that you want to have yeses to, and you know that that doesn't serve your ultimate goals, I would say brown bag it like we did in junior school, but that might not taste so nice if you have it later on. Put it into a container and you can put it into the fridge and you can have it later. Like fridges exist now. You can take it home and just say that I really want to enjoy this, but I decided to pick this as my dessert today. So I'm going to take this home. Thank you. This is a system that will help you focus on what truly matters to you. The 10-10-10 rule. That's a great one as well. How will I feel about this in 10 minutes? How will I feel about this in 10 hours? How will I feel about this in 10 days? To me, it's like, how do I want to feel when I'm lying in bed tonight? Because I know if I have a huge belly, I'm not going to sleep very well. I'm going to be restless. I'm going to feel like crap in my belly. And I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm not going to feel so well digested. I'm probably still going to feel a little lethargic. And I don't want to have regrets. But what are regrets to me? This comes back to your priorities and trade-offs. And what are we going to remember years from now? Like, we're not going to remember the weight gain that we had temporarily, because it won't be weight gain if like what you do in the few days now, if most of your year has been to the habits that you need to have. I'm not going to say on point, because 100% isn't on point, and that's a whole podcast of itself. But if you were intentional for most of the year, then all of these little days, which if you're one of my clients, you would have access to the consistency calendar. If you don't, let me know and I can send it to you, because I send it to whoever wants the consistency calendar. But you will see that if you had a few days that were not on point, you can either put an X on there or you can put a circle on there. The X is, this was a bad day. The circle is, this was intentionally not on plan because it was a soul-filled day. And if it's a soul-filled day, that is on plan, because food isn't just about eating for your goals. Food is also about your soul, your emotions, social health. So that's important to know as well. Just keep that one in mind. And like I said, these little days here and there, they're not going to undo you completely. Like, you're not going to remember that. What you will remember are the memories. You're going to remember some conversation. And life is short. Like, if we don't have people with us in the future, we're going to remember and reflect on past Christmases, past all of these. So it is so important for you to cherish those memories. And those memories aren't about the food. It's about the conversations. It's about laughing together, talking together. Like, yeah, there is food there as well, but it's not the sole reason that everyone's getting together. And I will talk about strategies for when I will talk about strategies. I have a whole toolbox on this. So I will send you the toolbox. It's a free guide. I'll send that to anyone who wants it as well. But sometimes we can feel really bad for saying no about something that someone put a lot of heart into creating, because we feel like we're saying no to them, but we're not saying no to them. We're saying no to the food. So being okay in your words there and being intentional with your words there makes a huge difference. But like I said, you need to build this plan in ahead of time. The best way to say, I'm going to give you in 3 steps how to set yourself up for success. Plan ahead. That planning ahead is important, like I mentioned. And sleep is a huge part of this, because if you are lacking sleep, you are less likely to make decisions that are going to make you feel good. And you're going to have lack of impulse control. You're going to have more cravings. Your hunger is going to be higher as well. You're going to want less of the healthier choices. You will most likely be more likely to say, well, fuck it. Number 2, make sure this is in the planning ahead. Number 2, make sure you move your body in the morning. Get some movement. Not only does movement help regulate your appetite, but it just keeps routine, and we want to keep routine. I always like to say, if you don't have a training day, replace that training with more walking. Just get out and about and walking. And number 3, make sure you are actually eating balanced meals through the day before the event. But also be mindful with that, because the event will have a lot more calories involved. And this is where you want to plan backwards. So it's like, I'm going to set aside 1,000 calories for Thanksgiving. And I know that I'm going to give myself a buffer. Like 2,000 calories would be within most of your maintenance if you've done the lifestyle right. If it's not, we need to talk, you need to hire me. Anyway, 2,000 calories, you should all at least be able to give yourself. So if you're putting 1,000, maybe 1,200 calories away for this big event, then we can track backwards from there. But you want to still eat a lot more through the day. So you'll have about 800 to 1,000 calories left still through the day. This is where you want to have a huge protein-packed breakfast. Lean protein, lots of veggies, lots of fruits through the day, Greek yogurt, fat-free cottage cheese, things that can keep you full and keep your energy steady, and also keep cravings at bay, hence the protein and the fiber. Now, step 2, at the event. So that's all the before. The sleep should be an ongoing thing. At the event, make sure you pause and you scan the table for what I mentioned before with the preferences, what you really want, what you can tolerate saying no to, and then your big no's. Figure that out. Decide what's worth it and build your plate around that. 1 plate. Get 1 plate, put everything you want on it. Take that plate away. Don't go hovering around the snack table, because you'll be more likely to snack. Engage in the conversations away. Like, this was one of my biggest things. I had to move away from the snack table because I was mindlessly snacking on things that I didn't really want. It was coming from that whole dieting mindset where I never let these foods in, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to have these another time because I know that I want to tighten up with them. Anyway, it's like, yeah, I could have, but I wasn't going to feel good in those choices. So I decided to make it all about engaging with people, being the social butterfly that way. I loaded my plate. If you do have the calories for it, you might be able to go back for seconds, but it's still 1 plate at a time. And you can always take things home. And I always used to do that with the chicken, because somehow the chicken was always really delicious at Christmas parties. Eat mindfully. Savor the first few bites. Like, eat slowly. You want to eat slowly. It takes 20 minutes at least for your body to register its fullness signals. So drink some water in between. Drink a lot of water before. Get a lot of diet soda. Diet soda is your best friend at these events. Honestly, it is. The carbonation helps fill you up as well. The biggest thing, like I mentioned, is rehearsing the responses to food pushes. Rehearse them, because you can feel really guilty for saying no, especially if you're a people pleaser. Just 1 more piece. Thank you, but I'm full. I really enjoyed it though. It's delicious. I've had some, but it's enough for now. If you need more help, DM me. Instagram, DM me. I'll send you the guide for my food pushes. There's a lot there. But why this matters so much is because when you feel in control of food, it affects more than just your body. It hits your mood, your energy, your confidence, how you go through your journey, and you're more likely to get results. You're more likely to be consistent because you know that you are in control of your results. You know that you can say no, and you know that you can say yes, meaning the biggest part, you can trust yourself to eat more, to get into maintenance, a slight surplus, and know that when you get your butt into a fat loss phase again, you are going to give it the best you got and you're going to get your best results. Most people do not trust themselves eating more food because they don't trust that they can they can stick to a deficit or get the results they want in the end from a diet. And I'm like, this was me. Until I went through my first most effective fat loss phase ever, like I was in a build 3 years, but inside of those 3 years, I did a 4 week, I can't remember to be honest, it was either 4 or 6 weeks, a 4 to 6 week mini cut. And holy shit, my body was responding like crazy. I'm like, I used to do so much shit to just get the scale to go down. So much shit. And when I was powerlifting, I even had to do a water cut because my body refused to lose even the slightest of grams, pounds, grams, whatever, but it just would not budge, no matter anything. So I had to do a 10-pound water cut / 5 kilo water cut overnight because I only was able to lose 1 kilo. Like I always used to be right near my weigh-in weight, but like towards my very last comp, my body was just so stubborn from all of the dieting and all of the stress that I put on it. That's why I didn't believe that. That's why I didn't trust myself to eat more food. And this is why this stuff that I'm talking about matters so much. The trust in yourself builds the long-term confidence that you need, proving to yourself that you can enjoy this meal. You can stop when you're satisfied. Knowing that you can do that allows you to do what you need to do to build the muscle, to break free from the dieting, to stop focusing on, I need to lose fat. When can I reveal weight? Like it stops you staying with one foot out the door for dieting. This isn't just about the holidays. That is why now is the best time to build these skills. It's about building a life and confidence where food isn't the enemy, where you feel in control, and where your progress doesn't depend on eating less and less, or doing more and more, or damage control, or undoing this, or freaking the hell out because you don't feel in control of your choices, or something happened out of control and now you need to tighten up and now you're beating up on yourself again. If you can navigate the chaos and the temptations of holidays now and have your skill box, every other time of the year is going to feel so much easier. Your holidays, you know how Sundays are kind of like the foundation for the week? The holidays are kind of like the foundation for the year, so to speak, because dieting, no, you don't need to diet now. The best progress is maintaining your weight, is building these skills, is becoming a soldier with a bigger shield. Imagine waking up every day knowing exactly how to track, which doesn't mean it that way, but like how to stay on track, I should say. Knowing how to stay on track without guilt, without stress, without the what ifs, without the doubts, because that's the transformation that we're building here. We're building a transformation that has you waking up every day knowing that you can trust yourself, that you are in control of your results, and that it's okay if you fuck up because you're human. Literally, I don't know a single human that is 100% perfect, because that doesn't exist. We all have our little things. If this resonates with you, please let me know. Share this episode with someone, because I feel like so many people can benefit from this in so many ways. And if you yourself are ready to break free from this guilt cycle, DM me on Facebook. I will send you my free holiday guide, or you can apply for coaching. I'll put the link into the description as well. And if you have any other topics that you want me to talk about, I'll put that link into the description as well. I'll take some notes to make sure I do that this time. And if you found it helpful, please, 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 I say it all the time, and I know that it's so easy for you to scroll by, but I just want to reach more people. I'm so passionate about this, and I hope you can tell, because you don't need to choose between enjoying your life and staying on track. You can have both, one choice at a time and a 5-star rating at a time. But honestly, it will mean the world to me if you could just rate my podcast 5 stars. Any feedback, let me know. I want to make these solo podcasts worth it for you. And I will hear you. Wait, you will hear me in the next one. Okay, love you all.